I'm with Mike Burke of Sitka Gold. And with Sitka, it's one of my best performers of 2025, actually. They were on my panel at MIF in Vancouver in January. And I recall at that time in mid-January, the stock had pulled back a bit. It was trading between 25 and 30 cents. And now Sitka is above $1, actually $1.20 this morning. So, Mike, what's working for you guys in 2025?
Yeah, well, at MIF, right, that was the end of our drill season. We usually get all our results by December, and at the end of January, that's when we updated our Blackjack resource mineral resource estimate, right? And our drill results during the year last year indicated that we were growing that deposit. The grade was looking to increase, and that's in fact what we did. We delivered on that, came out with a 2.3 million ounces and indicated and inferred just around a gram. And then we drill year round. We started up in February again. We can drill in the winter. We've got a good camp and everything up there, road accessible project, and started drilling again and producing good results. And then this year we've made that really exceptional new discovery, the Rhosgobel, and that's been the real recent bump in our share price. You can look at our chart and you can see it's pretty obvious when we started announcing results from that new discovery.
Yeah, so it's basically a 400% gain from January to where you guys are trading at, roughly now. That's pretty incredible. Especially when you're not starting from a small base, you're starting from 100 million plus market cap already. Now you guys are almost 500 million. So it's really been a transformative year, which is well underpinned by the combination of the results you guys continue to have at Rhosgobel, Blackjack, and across the RC project. But then this rising gold price environment is like nothing we've seen before. It's up. The gold price is up $1,500 since when we were at MIF in January.
Yeah, it's pretty exceptional. It's crazy.
Let's talk about Rhosgobel, because this is sort of the latest and greatest from Sitka. So you announced results from Rhosgobel last month, including 236 meters of 1.11 grams per ton gold from surface, and this now makes it. Are you guys 10 for 10 at Rhosgobel?
Yeah, we're batting 1,000. I wish the Blue Jays were, but maybe tonight we'll see. But yeah, I mean the results have been exceptional. I don't know who hits 10 for 10 in their first holes. All those holes have been more than 100 meters of plus 1 gram right from surface. And so we've drilled 42 holes into the Rhosgobel, covering a strike length of about 1.2 kilometers. Those first 10 holes are an area of about 300 meters in strike length. Of the 32 holes remaining, 27 of them we've observed visible gold in. So we're pretty confident we're going to get some good additional results as those assays come out and we release those. And the footprint of this Rhosgobel, we've drilled that east-west extent, and the central part of the soil geochem. If you look at our corporate presentation, you'll see an outline of the intrusion with the golden soil in the background. And that golden soil, extends north and south as well. So it's got a very large footprint. We've only been able to test that central part with these 42 holes for 12,000 meters. Initially planned 10,000 meters, but pretty hard to stop when you're hitting good visible gold and a nicely mineralized system.
So you guys expanded the drill program by 5,000 or so meters, is that right?
Yeah, a couple thousand so far. Then the numbers aren't finalized there yet, but yeah, definitely, because we have the ability to drill year round. We can extend our season. We have the financing, so we've got funds available. So we just kind of played it by ear and kept going when we saw the great results. The expanded program was on Rhosgobel.
So I was speaking to another investor a week or so ago, and he mentioned Sitka and Rhosgobel. And according to his analysis, he's got Leapfrog. He's putting in all the data. He thinks there's a potential for 100 million tons, averaging a gram at Rhosgobel. So we could, that's over 3 million ounces of gold. Does that sound about right with what you guys are seeing so far?
You plug it into Chat GPT. We've got all our data on the website, right? Obviously we need those remaining 32 holes to get the assays to come in. But as I mentioned, they've got nice visible gold, and it's a big footprint. So the Rhosgobel, I mean, people ask me that all the time. How big do you think it can be? And I point out other projects in the Tombstone Gold Belt that the geology is all similar, and we see big deposits. Fort Knox being the most obvious ones, produced over 9 million ounces of gold. We have the Snowline Gold discovery at 8 million ounces. We have Banyan Gold's Ormac. These are all plus 5 million ounces. Victoria Gold, the Eagle deposit, over 5 million ounces. So can Rhosgobel mirror those and get up into that range? You look at that footprint, you look at the dimensions of the gold in soil and surface and what we've done with our drilling, and certainly that's our target, a plus 5 million ounce deposit.
Okay, so there's 32 more holes pending from there, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and so do you plan to report those in batches, like 5 or 6 holes at a time throughout the rest of the year?
Yeah, typically we get a number in and put them out in little batches. Yeah, right now there's we're going through this bought deal financing, so there's going to be a little lull on results. We're blacked out, so as soon as that comes off, you'll see results start to flow again from there and other parts of the property as well.
Okay, and let's talk about some of the other parts of the property. Which areas are you most excited about? There's definitely the company has stepped out and tested some new areas in 2025. Which ones are showing you some joy so far, you think?
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing about the RC property. We're focused more on the western part, the Clear Creek intrusive complex. There's 11 intrusions there, all with known gold mineralization. So our focus this year was expanding the Blackjack and the Eiger deposits. So we're obviously excited about those. We've released some results on Blackjack and Saddle and Eiger, showing that those deposits are expanding. I think the other area midway between Blackjack and Rhosgobel, which is only a 5-kilometer distance, is the Contact Pukaman zone. That's seen a fair bit of drilling back in 2010 and 2011. So there's some great results there in the meta sediments. We drilled the intrusion as well last year, did about 5,000 meters of drilling there. We think there's great potential to discover another deposit in that area. It's with the amount of mineralization we've seen. We also tested the Bearpaw Breccia, which is just a little bit to the west of the Rhosgobel intrusion. That's an interesting little zone with some good higher grade, better than 1 gram historical results in it as well. So those are the two main areas. And then of course we stepped out into the eastern part of the property and drill a hole into the Mayq target that's right in the southeastern part of our project. So really wanted to step out, start poking some holes in these other areas, because it is a very target-rich environment, Robert. We've got a lot of work to do, and took advantage of being a well-financed company to be able to test some other targets in here.
And by the way, there's a core pick in that news release from September with some of the coolest looking scheelite I've ever seen in my life. We don't talk a lot about scheelite, but it's a tungsten mineral. And it lights up blue. It's pretty nice.
It's a pretty chunky stuff. It's beautiful mineral. Everybody, actually, I'll go back a little bit in time. My first year in the bush was up here in the Yukon, and I explored in the eastern part of Yukon, close to the Valley deposit and other areas with Canamax Resources. It was a branch of AMAX, and we were looking for tungsten and gold in these exact styles of deposits. I worked with Tony Hitchens. He was known as Tungsten Tony. So that was my introduction to prospecting with a raincoat over my head and an ultraviolet light, walking through all kinds of terrain in eastern Yukon. So yeah, these gold deposits have the Tombstone tungsten suite have tungsten associated with them, and we're seeing a lot of tungsten in the Rhosgobel. We see it in all our deposits, but Rhosgobel's pretty exceptional. And that photo from hole 42 was that tungsten and some associated gold in the same vein there. Pretty stuff.
Tungsten is a strategic metal now in 2025 because of its use in tank ammunition and all sorts of armed forces, applications. And the Yukon is well known for its tungsten. It's pretty abundant in the Yukon, so that's great to see you're getting it in multiple holes at Rhosgobel, and the grades are pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it would obviously be a byproduct, but 173 meters of 0.1, higher grade 75 meters of 0.16. So it would be, we're looking at different recovery techniques for the gold, including gravity, and tungsten's a nice heavy mineral, so it reports gravity-wise. We'll be doing a lot more metallurgical work on that this winter, so it looks like it could be a very significant byproduct, which is interesting. You get a lot of primary deposits that are subject to the swings of commodity prices, and that's been the bane of many styles of deposits. But to have a solid gold deposit with a potential tungsten byproduct could add a massive amount of value to our project.
Very good. So you mentioned that you're in blackout now due to financing, which is I guess it's a bought deal, so it's basically done. You just have to wait for all the paperwork to come in and for the lawyers to tell you that it's done. But how did the financing come together? And can you tell us anything about who may be participating in it?
Well, you'll find out who's participating. Obviously, we got a lot of great shareholders, and a bunch of them are coming back in. But yeah, the financing came together. We've actually been approached for a long time about financing, and we just really wanted to get to the point where we're confident we could raise enough money without diluting our stock to be able to finance for next year, finish this year and next year, so that we could again look at, just like this year. Last year we drilled 10,000 meters. This year we're at 32 now. Next year, with this bought deal financing, Sitka is going to be true to its word, and we put our money in the ground. We're looking at 50 to 60,000 meters of drilling. So that's how we've create value. We're not a bank. We don't take money to collect interest. We put it into the ground, and that's what we're going to do. Our drilling costs, because of our location, are low. $350 a meter all in was our cost this year. So you'll see us being able to deploy that bought deal and get a lot of work done. And again, have a little gas left in the tank to adjust if we need to, because we have, as you mentioned, all these other targets. If we get another one that looks as good as Rhosgobel, or a Pukuman contact works out, we've got a lot of places where we could put a lot of drills on.
Okay, very good. So you close the financing here in October, I imagine, and then the results will keep flowing through the rest of the year. And then if we look ahead to next year, Mike, can you sort of lay out what the year might be in terms of news flow and sort of key milestones for the company?
Yeah, just like previous years, our drill results for this year should be complete by early to mid-January. That's been the kind of pace. So you'll see a quick pace of news once that blackout period comes off. Then what we do, we compile all those results, and just like January 2023, we did our initial mineral resource estimate. This year in January 2025, we were able to get our updated mineral resource estimate out. So next year of January 2026, or maybe a little bit longer, because we got a lot more drilling, we'll be looking at updating that mineral resource estimate. You know, we haven't committed to that 100%, but we've got a lot of drill holes left to come in, 61 on the entire property. We've drilled 91 holes, so we've got a lot of results to come in. But if we keep our batting average up, we'll definitely have enough data to update that mineral resource estimate early in the year. Then, as I mentioned, we drill year round. You know, that's due to our location and the infrastructure. You land the old jet in Dawson City, Yukon, and a 2-hour drive later, you're up at our project, and it's actually quicker in the winter. There's less potholes on the Yukon roads, nice smooth snow. And we'll fire up our program in kind of late February, early March. And then with 50 to 60,000 meters of drilling to complete, we'll get that news flow happening fairly quickly, because definitely when we start up earlier, the labs aren't backed up anymore. So we see probably a 3-week to 1-month turnaround when we get our first drill holes into the lab. So you'll see, you know, late March, early April, drill results starting to hit the news again. So that's the scenario for us.
Very good. Thanks for laying that out. And just, you know, while I have you here, I'm hearing all different things about lab turnaround times the last month. What is it for you guys now?
It's in that 6-week range, you know. Yeah, I pity those labs. They got a hard job, you know. Like, you know, we all as companies, we change our mind. We hit something good, we do more drilling, and then we expect the lab to give us the same turnaround. So I have a bit of sympathy for them, you know, just to reach out. They do a fantastic job for us. So I'm not complaining about them. You know, they're an essential service for us. And yeah, we're just happy to get those results as soon as we can.
Things are looking really good in the Yukon. This has been a transformational year for the territory and for the gold mining industry. So happy to see this year turn out the way it has so far. And 2026 looks to be an even bigger and better year. So thanks a lot, Mike. And I look forward to following you and Sitka over the coming months.
Well, Sitka Gold sure looks forward to 2026 as well. Thanks, Robert.
Cheers.